My name is Carl Jones. I'm an animation producer, writer. I produce such series as Black Dynamite, The Boondocks, Sugar and Toys, Jellies with Tyler the Creator, Laser Wolf, a lot of Adult Swim stuff.
You have worked with so many different people. You have created so many great shows, and one of those is Sugar and Toys. Now, where did this idea come from?
This idea actually started from a conversation that I had with the head of Cartoon Network. I got into this really deep conversation just about cartoons in general, and just where things have changed a lot within the industry, and kind of I don't know, like how some of the cartoons that we all grew up watching are starting to resurface and why. And I just asked him, like I said, so what do you think happened to Saturday morning cartoons? And he said, well, they couldn't sell sugar or toys anymore, you know? And I was just like, wow, like we only had a childhood because corporations were selling sugar and toys to kids.
Sugar Crisp is made of whole wheat. That's why it helps make you big and strong. So get strong like me. Get Sugar Crisp.
But that's kind of what sparked the initial idea. So, so I got with my producing partner, Brian Ash, and we started putting together this satire, or this variety show that was like a cartoon block, right? That felt like something reminiscent of that era, but was tackling subject matter from today.
Would you say that cartoons are better now that they're not being pushed with a commercial undertone for Sugar and Toys, or would you disagree?
Well, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say it's hard, man. It's hard. Like I have people ask me that all the time, like, are cartoons better now than they were, or vice versa? And I really, I mean, it's it's one of those things where, like, I mean, you had some good cartoons, and you have some bad cartoons, right? Then and now, and I do feel like there's a lot of talented creatives that are really pushing the bar up. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of just creativity and what you can do with the medium. I mean, I'm a fan of like Adventure Time. Like I think like what they did was like revolutionary, right? But in the same way, like, I mean, Hanna-Barbera was that with the Flintstones. You know what I'm saying? Like doing this adult animated, sitcom. You know what I mean? A primetime type of show. Like so. There's always those innovators and the people that really push the culture, forward in a new and fresh way.
I gotta ask, it's like now more than ever, especially in voiceover, you see a lot of people stepping down from roles that were originally, they were just cast the way they were, but in specifically like something like Family Guy, like Cleveland. Mike Henry stepping down and Arif Zahir stepping into the role. Like, what is your point of view on that as far as representation on the screen and behind the microphone?
As far as the voiceover stuff goes, like, I think there's pros and cons, and I have kind of a mixed bag of feelings about it all, because I mean, look, there's obviously been a lack of representation, and there's an attempt to right the wrong, and try to correct some of this stuff. But then there's also a part of me that, I don't know, I feel, I mean, like, to remove someone from their job that sucks. That's not, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think it's good that people are talking about this, number one, right? And that they're even thinking outside. They're thinking outside of that traditional, way they've been approaching it. And I think that's the most important thing to me, because I feel like that's going to also spill over into other areas of animation production, like you mentioned about the directing chair, and you know what I'm saying, and producing as well, and writing, and even down to the stories themselves, and making sure that the stories are also reflective of the real world that we live in.
characters who are visible minorities were in history, in animation especially, we're never really seen as the hero characters or the main characters. We were always the side characters. We were always the best friend, and in some cases the villain.
You know, we've been kind of groomed to see, a strong white man is a superhero and a savior. You know what I mean? A straight, strong white, like that's been kind of the ideal like hero or savior. And I think that had some really, damaging effects on the psyche of people who aren't that or can't identify with that, because I mean, that's just one side of it. And the other side, like you mentioned, is seeing bad as black as being bad and evil and dark and swarmy, like those kind of words associated and those visual depictions associated with evil.
I was going to say, what are some of the things as a show creator that you would like to see change, and some of the things that you're trying to do to make that change?
Well, I think one of the biggest things for me, and I talk about this all the time, is this this white male gaze or lens that we're having to filter a lot of things through. I think there's this notion that in order for your content to appeal to a global audience, that it has to resonate with the characters, and the stories have to resonate. They won't say white America, but that is what they're saying, right? In order for it to be perceived as being broad enough to sell internationally, which is a real odd thing. If you're telling a story that's specific to a certain group of people, a certain culture, not even necessarily race, if it's specific to a certain experience or a certain group of people or a certain environment even, right? Like, it's okay for that story to be told very specifically, and it has to be told very truthfully and honestly, even if you're using a vernacular that everybody doesn't quite understand, or if you're talking about experiences that maybe someone hasn't had, right? But what you will resonate with is the humanity in those characters and in those stories that you're telling.
If you could bring us back to young Carl, Saturday morning, what was your routine as a kid Saturday mornings?
Saturday morning, man. It was wake up, before I brush my teeth, before I use the bathroom, go grab that bowl, the cereal, the milk, turn on the TV, and probably piss on myself. But that was the most important thing to do. No, I mean, that honestly, like my that was like, it was religious, man. It was like, I mean, that was my sanctuary. That was the place, like just sitting right. And I was always right in front. Like I should be blind right now. Like that's how close I was to the TV.
Hey guys, if you like more of the behind the scenes stuff and extended interviews, then we have just what you're looking for right here. Check out these videos right around here. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned.